welcome back to Living on the Ocean, this extensive series about how to make the rudder that's gonna come behind here and how we just made this lid underneath which we made a flange in the last episode. I just drawn with a marker those shapes up here, which I'm now gonna cut with a multi-tool. Nice tiny teeth, actually not much left of those teeth, has been cutting a lot, it needs a new blade. And it's very precise to work with. So I'm gonna cut this out in nice corners. I think this corner is a bit too close to this. I can have more surface. Why cutting this all away? And obviously that falls nicely in there, but that will be just too big. I need something that's a tiny bit smaller than that. That's this. Okay, let me start a generator up for you. The box to basically keep the sun off. It is already filled with fuel. And that's it. Speeding up the working process with 250%. This may be good enough and makes the videos not too long, but please let us know in the comments what you think about it. So we just make the videos longer or show less details, or is this speeded up parts good enough? There's a bit of a bump and there's a bit of a bump. You probably can see it if I draw a line against it. There's your bump. So I'm talking about that bump and that bump, and the rest you can see is perfectly straight, else I could never have drawn that line which I drew from the bottom. So let's do this one as well. There's a bump. And I think that shows very nicely that we have basically a clean surface. All I need to do is put this in here, keep it level here with the front, and push that into place. I'm now sticking this bottom with about this much area to that. I put 2 layers of that on here. You may say that's a waste. I could glue it in there anyway. It takes more epoxy. It just adds extra weight. I don't need it. Yeah. If I have this much on the flange and that much on the side, that's enough. I'm gonna fill it out those corners. That's the first job, and I will put the camera on my work. Now, a bit of experience helps obviously here in knowing roughly how much you have to put on there, because I cannot see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start in that corner. I'm going to put in 2 layers at the same time. There's no need for doing them one by one. I want the edge of this on the edge of this. So by laying that there, but I give it a little bit more my direction. Now I'm not going to wipe too much in there, because it will be wiping all my plaster away. So this very wet piece. 2 layers already on top of each other. It should be coming there. This is on the edge of what I'm possible to do. It's very fiddling and it's only a just big enough hole. So next time, don't make your holes too small, plan them big enough. But sometimes that's just simply not another way to do it. But you can see that the bigger holes are a lot easier. Something didn't go well there. Let's try to do that again. See, that's what happens. You think you're almost there. And the next day, after I sanded the plaster that I put on, just a shot from the inside, you can see very well the 2 layers of glass. The last layer and the first layer going over the filler with no air underneath. I've been finishing the openings on the top. They've been plastered and sanded already once after glass fibering. They're going to be one time more sanded and then just a couple spots. In the past I would always put glass fiber around this, sand it round, put glass fiber around it and then plaster it all nice. But it's stronger, but it's really not necessary. And it was just a lot more work, and it actually more came from working with wood and capping your wood so your wood would not get wet. Cut it open, scrape out the foam and fill it up. That's what we're gonna do. There's my nice round wheel. Hello. All I now need to do is sanding it very lightly and then I can plaster it. But I want to do something else today because that's not so much work. I want to put a pipe on the chain plate. We made this carbon fiber pipe yesterday and it needs to be stuck on top of this bulkhead. Basically, if we're making mess, let's do it all in one time. So this pipe is going to be glued on here and then with carbon fiber be stuck on this. And everything is cleaned up. You can see the nice gap in between the layers of glass where we took the foam away. Those can now be filled with epoxy and capo seal and then later sanded nice and round. It's not a too hard job to do and I really find this the nicest way of making a hole. And then I spent it another time sanding and plastering to get to painting. This is an epoxy with a white pigment, especially for epoxy in it. It's a bit tricky because you don't just put a color in it, because the color needs a percentage of hardener as well. And that's not just a 1 to 2, because part of this color is obvious pigment and doesn't need any hardener. So you have to look very well what the factory says you should be doing there. Now this is going to be a lot of fun, you all understand this, I'm going to be very messy. We coated this with an epoxy with a pigment in it. It's so hard, you can just scrape the tiny bits of dust easily away without scratching it. Because I done it 2 days ago, it cured over the weekend. This is the same stuff that's on the bottom of Twilight. There's no anti-fouling, it's not needed. She goes on, so does anti-fouling in my opinion. Only this is so hard, I can take a scraper and just scrape the bottom clean, which I will do very soon to Twilight. It takes some work, but so does anti-fouling, and it's expensive on top and it's poison. I prefer doing this, gives me something to do around the boat. We're gonna grind the top of this, we're gonna grind that, and then we're gonna glue this lid on top of here. From then on it's gonna be the holes in the future that come here for me to reach in the water tank. That's all nice and smooth. Yeah, oh, there's a tiny little piece of dust. And now it's gone. Nice and smooth. You've seen me put the glass here. This is a very strong flange. There's so much sanding always to be done just to get a good connection. And I was actually hoping to glue this lid on earlier, actually in the weekend, so I didn't have to sand away. Of course the epoxy would have been much fresher, I could have just roughed it up a bit. But since I didn't and the weekend went over it, let's do a good job. And my machine doesn't fit in the corners, so that's why we use sharp scrapers. This is an exciting moment. We're gonna glue this closed. Now what's the easiest? First put the glue on here? No, because I want this board to be done first. So that's all well sanded. Now we want glue on here. Spread it out quickly so I don't get exotherm. Get myself one of those. They have nice little teeth, so that's easy. We know it fits very, very well, so we don't need a massive amount of glue. See how well this sticks with capo seal. Doesn't fall off. That's the nice thing from working with lightweight stuff. Put that out of the way for now. And take away what we don't need. There's a whole bit that I didn't do. Take your time. Arie, don't mess it now up. I can do that so well. Just on the last moment get a little bit like, oh, I can do that, and then I mess it up. I need you later. So where can I put you safely? So that's both sides done. And there goes the big moment. We close it after all this time. Where can I hold it? Let's say there. Put it on there. And bye bye. We know that that's a very, very good fit. But we're gonna put a couple screws in to make sure that it stays very nicely down. I can see the glue squeeze when I do that. I like that, see that look, because I know it's working. And now there's only one more thing to do. After it's screwed in, wipe the inside, because obviously a little bit came out on the flange. Tomorrow we put glass here, and then we can start build on top of this. You can see that doesn't work. You want to know a trick for that? Now they're just a little size bigger, because I don't have the smallest hands in the world, and it normally works well then. So there we go, inside. Try to find that flange. Not much, so that's good. A little bit. Now go in with my finger. If it's that little, I know I can just make it nice and sealed. Check this one. And the last bit to finish it, sanding those spots and then put glass fiber there and around those corners. And for that it needs to be nice and round, so sanding again. And the usual, after the sanding, before the glassing, put the fillers in the corner and with a rubber make a nice filler out of it, a nice round corner. And now I can just roll them easily, but that one was just laying too low, so put it a bit higher to get enough on each side. It's 2 layers of glass that I'm putting up here. Pieces in the corner keeps the corners very nice and give a much nicer effect than letting all the ends get there and get all the sharp endy bits. If you lay the fibers well, this piece actually fits in this 3-day corner, and then you get these nice round corners. It's quite warm in here and I need to speed up else I get exotherm. So quickly put more resin on those pieces and fold them over the edge. With the resin already on it, it's very easy. Almost there, the last 3 pieces. The last bit of epoxy. I made it, it didn't exotherm. One more to the left. The second one more to the right. And then one in the middle. And now it's a very nice watertight triangles on the back with the beginning of our water tank. The first step to come on board. And I hope you once put your feet on it and visit us. A little check with my fingers if everything is nice in the corners, and then take the roller off because else tomorrow it's stuck. Waiting for about 2 hours and then I can put the first layer of plaster on it. More of our alterations and building videos are in our playlist in the top right corner over here. In the bottom is our sailing videos, and you can subscribe to our channel by clicking the bottom here on the left. Thank all of you that subscribed, liked and commented. We do our best to respond to you as soon as we can. We hope to see you in the next one.